What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be doing round 2 of my mock draft 5.0 with trades. So I'm going to give a quick recap of what happened yesterday in round 1. Of course, if you guys are new, I would love for you guys to stick around. Again, we just breached 5K, so let's get it up to 6 and beyond. Of course, yes, if you guys are regulars to the channel, I clean shaved. I just said fuck it. It was fun. Might as well have like a fun little day. I haven't seen my face in 3 years, so it's like, I don't know, 165. I've never been able to see my face clean shaven at this phase since I've been obese. So thought it might have been a cool little jaunt for me to do. And you know what? It's fun. I'll have a beard back. I mean, you guys can see already, like the damn shadow's already back. But let's get right into it. Yes, of course, we use Gillette because they are the best. But looking at it, I'll give a quick recap of the draft. Bryce Young was the #1 overall pick, followed by Stroud. I'll talk about more of the trades here. I had the Seahawks jumping the Bears to be able to get Myles Murphy. Again, I thought the Bears would have been a good spot for Myles. I thought maybe even you look at the Lions. They were a great spot to also trade up for Myles Murphy. So definitely like that idea for them. Peter Skoronski, of course, got to continue protecting Justin Fields. Even if he does want to run for that many yards, it would be nice if he didn't have to. Then, of course, one of my favorite guys in the draft, Christian Gonzalez, is a beast. Again, you guys can read, but Jalen Jones, I want to talk about him really quick. I just did a restudy on his, at least statistically. He played 30 coverage snaps versus Alabama, and I'll give you a second to guess the amount of yards. Zero. Zero targets, 0 receptions, 0 yards. Played 30 coverage snaps. Played, I believe, 70 snaps that game. He played the full game. Did not get targeted once. He is locked down. He has not let up the amount of yards that he has since the Miami game. He's let up 72 yards all year long. Ridiculous. He let up 38 week 1. Tyree Wilson's getting a lot of hype. I think he's a very good scheme fit for them as well. Again, you guys can watch the video for this in depth. Will Levis, I'm starting to regret because of the fact I think Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. I think it's a good move too. And then, of course, I think there was one player I subbed out a player for. And right here. So I did not draft Carl Brooks. I ended up going after one of my favorite players in the draft, Isaiah McGuire, who you can see right there at my #5 overall spot on my big board. Of course, I am going to shift this down. You guys can see I still have a lot of guys who have not yet been drafted on here. But I think it's fair for me to go into a range where I haven't drafted the majority of them, and that is a good spot to go. So pick number 32. We got Jordan Addison. We have Bryce Young. Now, a good spot for us would probably be focusing on that defense, right? We got the offense down. Now, I think corner definitely should be at least in the mix, right? It should be. I don't know if that should be the priority, but it should at least be in the mix. I think linebacker, Drew Sanders, you need to help stopping the run. This guy's going to help you do it. He's not flashy, but he's super talented, super smart, and he was brought to Alabama as a pure edge rusher. And we've seen that his frame could even get up to that 250 mark, which is great. Obviously, a lot of these guys are capped at their frame. I think Drew Sanders definitely could be one of those guys who could be somebody to be comfortable with as your true Mike. So I do like that a lot. I am considering it very heavily. I think Brian Bryce does have an extremely high ceiling, though. I do understand that. And getting some extra pressure from the inside is certainly something I want to do. Gervon has unfortunately moved very far down my board. I'll show you guys where he's at. I have no idea where he's at right now. And he's at number 59. So, obviously, you guys see where I'm at on a lot of these players. I'm not very high on very many of the guys who the NFL is. So, let's actually just go after Brian Bryce here. Again, I do think he will be going around this day. He will definitely be going day 1 to day 2. That's a guarantee. But people don't factor in injuries enough. If Andrew Booth was getting round 1 hype, and then because of injuries, he was pushed out of it, there's a pretty good chance that Brian Bryce could be as well. Obviously, he missed an entire season. But also, he cannot be consistent down to down, and he does deal with some injury problems here and there. So pick number 33, the Raiders. God, I feel so bad for this team. I really do. And Brian Bryce would be a great fit for you guys. So I pretty much just gave you the middle finger. Apologies about that. But I think offensive line, you gotta address it, man. And it is a little bit annoying that Darnell Wright isn't in here, but I want someone who can play right tackle and then sub in at left when need be. I'm not going to draft Graham Barton, but that's going to be the placeholder for Darnell Wright, tackle out of Tennessee. He played extremely well versus Will Anderson, He's been very consistent all year long after making a move from left tackle to right. I love seeing that versatility, and I love being able to see that production day one. Pick number 34. So I did not fall for the trap. I went after Will Anderson, not Will Levis. Went after the correct Will. I think y'all are pretty happy about that. I would be too. So at this spot, I do think a running back is, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to start going after running backs. I do. And I look at Jahmyr Gibbs, and that's so similar to what you had in Christian McCaffrey. Now, you could take this second round pick at 51, go after someone like Devon Achane, and I get it. But I do think that the NFL does value these high upside running backs very highly. And Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to be in that 4.2 to 4.3 range. And that's just going to be nasty. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a first round pick, especially since Travis Etienne, I almost said Trevor. I've been watching too much Florida. But Travis Etienne's been having himself a year. So definitely, I think the value of a star running back of that build is going to be a little bit higher than it was maybe last year. But Jahmyr Gibbs is certainly a very talented player. I think that he'd be a great fit into this offense. Now you pretty much have everything you need. I know you guys probably want another quarterback there, but I honestly would make a play for Derek Carr too, especially in this scenario where Will Levis is now the Colts guy. This is a perfect spot for Derek Carr to be in. It's not really a sloppy seconds of a player with high potential, and Derek Carr has been able to prove it on the field. He's also been able to not prove it on the field. However, that's a discussion for another day. Eagles sitting here at 35. So for me, this was going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Blake Corum certainly still is in the cards. I know Miles Sanders definitely could be the guy you bring back. Blake Corum pretty much should be in the Heisman contention. He's done a phenomenal job this year. He's a really damn good back. I mean, I was very high on him at the start of the year, but he's improved even that since then, and I love that. I love seeing guys improve. So again, I think corner definitely should be on the list, on the short list of things to get. We, of course, got Jalen Carter. So, pretty good pick. Again, Michael Mayer's here too. I would consider trading back again. You got Tanner McKee, Michael Mayer. You also have Hendon Hooker on the board, who is a very... Actually, no, you don't. We traded, and that's why Hendon Hooker's off the board. But I think Blake Corum seems to be the right move here. I'm not that big of a fan of it. I mean, Garrett Williams would be nice. Again, he tore his ACL, so he's out for the season. But I think that, before that, his talent was top 15 in the draft. And you traded back, you got extra picks, because that's how he does. And now I feel pretty damn comfortable saying this could be a really good target. We can get a running back with our second round pick. This is the deepest class I've ever seen. This is a good guy to have on your roster, and you don't have to start him immediately. Again, you're really good at getting those stopgap guys in free agency. This is a great way to be able to, have that fill the hole in the meantime and have a guy there for the next 10 years. I love Garrett Williams. I think he's going to be an absolute star. I think I said we were considering him returning, but honestly, out of pure realism, if you tear your ACL, it's very hard for you, especially in this class, to go in the first. So out of respect for Garrett Williams, we'll take him here. Pick number 36, the Jaguars. God only knows how this happens, but Michael Mayer falls to you guys. I'm not that high on Michael Mayer. Again, I think he's a damn good tight end, but I also think he's a tight end. And I also think that he's not that spectacular. He's a very good player, but he can't separate from NFL linebackers and DBs the way that I think a lot of people think he can. And I may be wrong on that. I'm going to be doing my re-eval eventually anyways, so I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. But my eyes so far haven't shown anything that wows me beyond my beliefs. He was great as a true freshman, and I have not seen him take that big step since. He has not improved in my eyes. And I don't like players who are very consistently at one level. I like players who are consistent down to down, not year to year. I want you to be able to take a step up every time because it shows that you're at least working on your craft. A lot of people say Michael Mayer doesn't have much to improve upon. I get that. But I just haven't seen that legit step up where Kyle Pitts caught my eye and I was like, holy crap. Players of that caliber. Pick number 37. So the Steelers, we ended up going after Jalen Jones, which is, again, probably pound for pound my favorite player in the draft and not named Isaiah McGuire. So we got Jalen Jones. Now would be a good time to probably address offensive line as well. Have I drafted Javon Foster yet? I think we have, yes. So wanted to make sure if that was on the board, I certainly would go after it. I want to see the other players who are here. I think Luke Whippler would be a great addition to our team. I really do. He doesn't need to play center, but he graded out as, you guys can see, he's at number 34 on my board. He graded out as one of the best players that I've seen on the offensive line in this class just from day one. He's super consistent. There's nothing flashy about the guy, but you feel comfortable with him. Like, there's very few reps where I'm like, I'm not very comfortable with you. Like, it's a guy that you can really trust. And I think that's something the Steelers are kind of desperate for. You saw it in free agency. We paid a lot of money for some players. I think Luke Whippler definitely should be at least in the consideration. He's my front runner for this pick. Again, guys, I do this all live. It's more fun for me. It's probably more fun for you too. Blake Corum could be a sneaky pick here. I do think that Najee's had his stumbles for sure. Wide receiver, I mean, you could technically look in the realm for this, but I don't think there's that marquee round 2 guy except Justin Shorter, which I could honestly see that being a Steelers pick. But I think the right move here probably is going to be going to center. And I could see a couple teams where I'd be pretty happy drafting interior offensive line. And I definitely don't want him potentially going to the Browns anyway. I don't think he will, but I just want to take that opportunity off the board. Regardless, pick number 38, Seattle Seahawks. And again, I want to highlight this because people are already getting on Geno Smith. We see one bad game from Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, and we're like, no, they'll be fine. People have been waiting for Geno to have some bad reps. They've been like thirsting for it. And it's just so freaking cruel, man. Like, come on. Like, let the guy play. He's been doing a great job all year long. He has one game where he's had stumbles. Oh, we see the real Geno again. He's back. What the fuck's that? Come on, man. Like, Geno has done something that is absolutely incredible, and we just want to shit on him for it, and that's not cool. Like, I feel like that's the media's way of trying to be like, okay, the narrative is back. It shouldn't be. Geno's been playing it very, very well all year long, and for us to just try to piss on his bonfire, like, just because he has one tough game, come on, man, get off your high horse. Regardless, I just want to stick my neck out for Geno, who I haven't before that much. But if you are sitting here, we've got Antonio Johnson, as well, and with our first pick of going after Myles Murphy. That's a great pick. So, again, Antonio Johnson, I've heard some feedback for that, and I understand that's something that you guys don't exactly see as a round 1 position. I know that you guys run 3 safety sets. I do think that it is a good pick, but it probably isn't the best pick, and I understand that. And going forward, we'll avoid going safety in round 1 for that reason. I love going a linebacker here. I really can't see, apart from guard or center. Ooh, actually pause. Let's definitely go center here. I mean, I forgot about John Michael Schmitz. Like, I was saying, oh yeah, well, there's going to be center gone here. John Michael Schmitz has been playing great all year long. Luke Whippler, he just more consistent in my eyes, even though technically the PFF grade doesn't support it. Like, my eyes tell me Luke Whippler is just going to be a super consistent, solid dude. And honestly, I'm kind of dying for that as a Steelers fan. But again, getting offensive line, probably the best move. So the Rams are going to go Tanner McKee here. No. I mean, not awful in terms of that pick. I don't really have full trust in Stafford's health in the long run. Again, injuries do pile up. Age stacks up. Regardless, you guys got a ring. Again, no matter what happens, it's totally worth it. I do think some teams will probably try to trade up for a QB here. And again, this is a mock with trades. Running back, I don't think is necessarily on the board the way that we kind of think that it could be. I do think offensive line needs to be again. And I do like Blake Freeland. Where is he on my list? Where is he? Like, Blake should be somewhere in here. And I know a lot of people are going to lose their shit over Olu Fashanu's position. But Blake Freeland's 73. This is a little rich. But I also think that, I see some teams in here that could look for a more mobile tackle. I'm highlighting the team. I do think offensive line definitely could be the position that the Cardinals target. And looking at the Cardinals' first-round pick, they definitely could be in that market. I've been going Blake Freeland to this team for a long time. I do think that is a very good possibility. Linebacker, again, Drew Sanders is on the board. I think this team could definitely use a captain on defense. But you have to start drafting offensive line. You have to. Blake Freeland is going to be the next guy in line for the Rams. Again, you lost a Hall of Fame offensive tackle. That's a big hit, and we've seen it. Again, you also are talking about Matt Stafford's health. kind of pretty key to have a good offensive line. Blake Freeland's not there just yet, but he's already moved up 20 spots over the year. I think the guy is going to do a great job. Pick number 40 with the Browns. Again, the Browns don't need that much. I'm going to go linebacker here with Drew Sanders, a very talented 3-down linebacker. He's super versatile. Everybody loves him. I think it's a great spot for him to go. The Steelers now have another pick. Hallelujah. We've addressed center. We've addressed corner. Now, we could address probably almost every other position, maybe not tight end or quarterback. I do think Kenny is the dude. I want to look at the edge rushers on the board. Because, look at these guys. I have them in my top 13, top 10. Look at this. I'm going to scroll up right now. Y'all are going to see this. Look, I have my number 8 guy on the board, as well as my number 13. It's almost too good to pass on, right? You're looking at these teams that have already drafted edge rusher. The Eagles could have definitely gotten in on this, and I think I'm going to trade up with them anyway. But, the Steelers got to get feasted on some of this, right? You have to. It's just too good of a value. And Jared Verse definitely needs some time to sit and become healthy. Same thing with Andre Carter. I think that, Andre Carter doesn't need to become healthy. He just needs to sit and develop. It's BPA, man. It's BPA. So, pick number 42. This is quite the surprise. I want to make sure with the Lions, I know that we went after corner with our first pick, and we went edge already. Okay, I wanted to make sure. I was about to draft another edge for you guys because, again, the value, incredible. This could be a quarterback. Again, this is a good spot for one. It's a second-round pick. It's like, hey, let's throw one out on Tanner McKee. What do you have to lose? It's a second-round pick. I know there's other positions that I definitely would want to target, linebacker being one of them. And that could definitely be the right move. You do have guys like Jack Campbell here who'd be great. But I also think there's linebackers in the third that could also be great as well. So, again, it's really up to you guys. I think going after a quarterback like Tanner McKee would not be bad at all. I really do like that potential for him to be able to step in and take that Jared Goff role for a much cheaper price. And I know you guys have the salary cap, so you can't afford it. But I personally wouldn't want to. So I'm going to go Tanner McKee here. Again, I wanted to trade up with you guys to be able to draft some super high-end players. Like a better quarterback like Hendon Hooker. But Tanner McKee going to be the guy. Pick number 43. So the Falcons. I believe, did we draft corner 2 for you guys? Again, I might as well do a refresher every time. We did. We drafted Keely Ringo. Kept him in Georgia. I think this is going to be a great spot to go another edge rusher. And you have your pick of the litter here. Andre Carter or Felix Anudike-Uzomah. It's really up to you guys. It really is. You have B.J. Ojolari here too. Will McDonald, Byron Young. This class is ridiculous. It is. I really don't know who's going to come out, who's going to return. But Andre Carter could be a freaky option. I think Felix might be that guy who fits a little bit better. And again, feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong. I'm more than happy of being put in the wrong because I'd rather make a mistake once rather than a billion times, right? Defensive interior is a position I want to target here for the Cards. I think going after, there's no way they did not put him in the top 100. Jesus Christ. Tyler Davis deserves respect, man. He's the guy who I want to take here. Mozzie Smith, I'm not going to take him in this. No, there's no way I'm going to take him in this. Okay, there's a chance I take him in this. We're going to say as a Jacqueline Roy, it's going to be Tyler Davis, defensive interior out of Clemson. He's been performing better than Brian Breesy. I don't know what crack is being smoked over there at PFF to have Will Levis at 3, but Tyler Davis not in the top 100. But I kind of want some of that. I need a little bit of that in my life. Regardless, pick number 45. I think Quentin Johnston was the first-round pick for the Packers, and he was. Great. So, now, honestly, I want to still look at offensive line, man. This team needs it. Is there anybody good? No. That hurts me. That really does, because I really want you guys to get some good stuff. You got Steve Avila here, who does deserve some respect as well. Christian Haynes, I've heard some very good stuff as well. He's super athletic, and definitely something where I could see some team reaching on him because it's probably his combine performance. But looking at other positions, I know people are saying Robert Tonyan seems to be the guy there. But would you rather pay Robert Tonyan or end up with ooh, Okay, Darnell Washington's going to get a lot of love, like a lot of it. I mean, I'd be willing to trade back here, of course. There's no way that Sam Laporte is not in here either. This is this is freaking atrocious. I didn't even know this. I went over the damn draft. I already did a video on this. Oh no, I didn't. That's the one I recorded without freaking volume. Regardless, Darnell Washington, definitely somebody who I think would be a great option here. Man, I mean, I can get Sam Laporta. No, I can't. I can't get it later. We're going to go Darnell Washington here. You want to continue stacking up on weapons, get yourself a bunch of super weapons, and this guy could kind of play tackle. Pick 46 with Washington. Again, this is a weird spot because this team, on paper, doesn't have many needs. But Clark Phillips is here. I'm absolutely drafting a corner for you guys. I probably did that in the first, didn't I? No, I didn't. Hallelujah. Let's go. I was like, oh, that was that instant regret. Pick 47, I don't really see, like, I see the Eagles as a team that's like dying to move up here. So let's go find the Philadelphia Eagles. And because there's Andre Carter on the board. And we're not messing around, guys. We're not messing around. We're tossing in this pick here. I'm trying to think about the value of this spot. It's probably going to be around that 300 mark. And this one's probably around that like 200. And this is about 100. So let's see. Okay, so 37% chance. So we're going to ask for a next year 4 as well. And I think Howie's fine with this. You do have that extra pick next year. So we're going to force it anyway. We'll use the chart soon enough. But this is going to be Andre Carter. You guys trade up and are able to draft an absolute freak at edge. I like to draft him at the end of the first. But now you guys kind of have everything you were looking for. You got Garrett Williams, Andre Carter, and Jalen Carter. And I know Howie might not be fully on board with that, but because he likes his offense. But I certainly think that this running back class is so deep, you can get somebody in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round and be perfectly happy. Pick 48, this is honestly a team where I think Blake Corum would be a great fit. But I also think wide receivers should be in the consideration. I don't see anybody who I'm dying to take here for him, though. I think running back might be the best way to go about it. You can get the ball out of the hands of Justin Herbert. Blake Corum's a great compliment back, especially to Austin Eckler. I do love his ability, and it's a great value for the player. Pick number 49, I do think tight end should be in the consideration here as well. We're not getting Tucker Kraft. We're going to be going after Sam Laporta. It is absolutely ridiculous that he's not in the top 100. As you guys can see, I still have a lot of guys here in my top 32 who have not been taken yet. Pick number 50 for the Buccaneers. Again, this is just not the draft for them. I think B.J. Ojulari might be the right move, man. I mean, again, I do have him in my top 32. So definitely somebody who I like. I'm going to go B.J. Ojulari. Again, BPA. BJ. Oh, no, pause. Let's continue. Pick number 51. So Carolina, again, we have gone after Will Anderson as well as Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I do know some people are crying for some corner help because of the injury issues with Dante Jackson. I understand that. However, I think that you have a pretty stacked corner core, especially on paper. I'm not willing to do that just yet, but I do think going after a linebacker would not be terrible, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but I really want someone who's just super consistent, and that's Jack Campbell. I really like that potential right there. Pick 52. So Patriots, we ended up drafting, no, we did not draft a wide receiver round 1. We did. Kayshon Boutte. Awesome. Great. So we already got Kayshon Boutte. I do think that an edge rusher could be in the cards. I like Will McDonald. I know out of realism, I think Foskey's going to go earlier because he's going to test very well at his size. So we're going to go Isaiah Foskey here. Again, you got rid of Chase Winovich. I do think Isaiah Foskey could certainly come in and kick some ass. Pick number 53 with the Seattle trade. We traded the 2nd round pick. So, sorry, Seattle fans, but you really didn't need much more anyway. We've already drafted corner. We've already drafted tight end. This is kind of stacking up to be a pretty loaded class for you. Looking at other positions we could go after. I mean, you could technically still go after a running back here, but there's no way in hell you guys would have traded away James Robinson for that little to be able to spend a 2nd round pick on a running back. I think that's a pretty fair assumption, right? So, for me, this team doesn't need much. That's the issue. They don't really need much. Like, guard is probably the next position I'm going to go. We're going to test it out. I haven't watched Christian Haynes, but this guy's going to test out of his mind at the combine. Obviously, Broshma's been the one who's been kind of telling me this stuff, so I'm going to throw it out there. We're going to see what happens, but I like the idea of showing some love to U Connecticut. I love Connecticut players too, so it's fun just to throw that in there. Pick number 54, the Jets. We went after offensive tackle in round 1, 99.9% sure because that's my dream for them. Yes. Olu Fashanu was the player. Of course, he's facing Von Miller like week 1. RIP. But I think tight end, definitely in the cards. I think that not running back, hallelujah. Offensive line, I think could be okay for now. Again, this team's stacked, so I don't really know exactly where to draft. Linebacker's probably a good spot. And I'm going to draft so you have some good veteran presence there. I am not going to draft Cedric Gray because I don't know enough about Cedric Gray. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you stuff about a player I don't know. This is going to be Jacoby Windman, and you guys can see him on my board, number 40. I'm probably as high on Jacoby Windman as you could be. So I think we've drafted the majority of these players. Justin Shorter is the only guy who is left pretty much in that range. But this is going to be Jacoby Windman. He is an edge rusher who moved to linebacker. And I know a lot of people don't like certain things about him, but he's an athletic freak, and his potential is sky high. I think it's a great spot for him. Pick 55 with Buffalo. Again, we got Brian Branch in the first. I already know it because I was like salivating over this pick. So this is probably, they've shown the need for a true running back one. Sean Tucker definitely feels like that guy who could be the guy to hit the hole. I feel like it's the one position that they don't have solved, and they still don't have it solved. The Bears via Baltimore, sitting here, we've gone after one wide receiver technically with our second round pick that we sent to the Steelers with Chase Claypool, but we went after offensive line. I think now would be a good time to go after a wide receiver, and none of them are on this list, but we might as well show love to my friend Rashee Rice by going after Justin Shorter, who I just mentioned, who's in my top 32. Really good player out of Florida, number 1 wide receiver coming out of high school, going to Penn State. Transfer to Florida, has taken the big step up this year. Pick number 57, I think this should also be a wide receiver. And Josh Downs is an absolutely awesome athlete. So I want to show him some love. Zay Flowers, I have above him, but I think Josh Downs has a little bit more hype. However, I think we might see another receiver go here. I want to see what I got for the Cowboys in round 1. We go Cyrus Torrance. This is going to be Zay Flowers. I think he's an amazing compliment. Again, he's my wide receiver 5. So, big fan of Zay Flowers right there. Is he here on the list? Can you see him? I think I have no idea where the hell he's at right at the moment. But Zay is a monster. Yeah, he's at number 49. He's right there. So, big fan of Zay Flowers. He deserves to be on this list. He is an absolute beast. Big fan of him. Pick 59, for New York. We went after Andrew Voorhees, getting some extra offensive line help. I do think a linebacker could be in the cards here. I do think a corner could be as well. And I love the idea of Emmanuel Forbes, who could be that slot boundary hybrid. Seems to be a little bit more your style. You're fine with those lighter corners. He's been an absolute ball hawk, so big fan of that. So for the Dolphins, I think that you definitely should look at a DB as well. Chris Abrams-Drain, absolutely awesome. Devon Witherspoon has been locking down, but we're going to stay in Miami, get a nice boundary corner who needs a little bit of veteran leadership in Tyreek Stevenson. Pick 61, we've drafted Tanner McKee. We've drafted Joey Porter, and we drafted Tyree Wilson. So we have a nice balance there. We're going to go after a tight end here. Dalton Kincaid definitely deserves some love, and I very well might draft him. And I think I will. He's pretty much taken over Utah's offense and has made them a pretty damn good team. So I'm going to show some love there. Pick 62 for the Chiefs. Again, I love going defensive interior here. That's just what I do. It's my thing. But Kalijah Cansey definitely should be in the consideration. We're going to go Gervon. I want to show a little bit of love to him. Mozzie Smith could be another great guy. Pick 63. Offensive line should still be in the consideration. I don't think there's anybody else left. And let's scroll down my list. Let's see if there's anybody here. As you guys can see, there's a lot of players in here, but not many of them that look very serviceable at the moment. So other positions I'd want to target, probably corner as well. Devon Witherspoon, certainly somebody who I want in that list. But I'm going to go Chris Abrams-Drain. I love that versatility. He can play multiple positions, and he is a top 32 player on my board. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.